We completed our strange pilgrimage when we saw the Bacchae resting in the woods. We stopped and lay down quietly in a grassy clearing just above the women where we could watch them unobserved. They sat together, these maenads, in a watery glade beside a stream under gnarled oaks. Some of them were repairing their Bacchic spears, decorating them with ivy. Some young ones threw off their fine, soft skins and sang a clapping song, dancing coltish steps back and forth on the grass. All seemed content, lost in their tasks. Poor Pentheus, though, was not pleased. He said, "Stranger, I can't quite see everything clearly enough. These sluts are dancing naked. If I could climb a high pine tree, I might get a clearer view of these disgraceful females." When Pentheus said that, the stranger smiled and did something quite amazing. He reached up to one of the tall pines, took hold of a high branch, and he pulled the tree down, till its top tip touched the needle earth. He held it down as lightly as a boy twisting a stem of mountain grass, a whole tree bent tight like a bow. This was not normal mortal strength. I'm sure it must have been divine. He picked up Pentheus and perched him in the top branches, then eased the pine slowly back upright, carefully making sure not to catapult him off the mountain. My master, astride the trunk, rose skyward until at last he sat on top of the pine tree like a bright star, exposed, on show, in full view of the women he had spied on. I looked round, but the stranger had disappeared, and then suddenly a voice, Dionysus, from nowhere, echoed round the forest clearing. "Girls, I've got you a gift. This man mocked you, mocked me, and mocked my rights. Take him, my maenads, he's all yours." The voice spoke, and the sky was lit by a bright flash of holy fire. Time seemed to stand stock still. The birds and animals fell silent. The women stood up, listened, cast glances about them, uncertain what it was they had just heard. Then once again the God voice urged, "Do it, do it, do it, do it." And so they did. The Bacchae rose, quick as a flock of starlings they flew, his sisters, aunts, all led by Agave, his mother. They leapt across the rushing stream, jumped the tumbled river rocks. Filled with the madness of their god, they hunted my master, and soon they found him on top of the pine tree, trapped. Some women scrambled up a cliff and rained down stones hard onto him. Young girls tore off sharp pine branches and threw them like javelins. Sisters flung their Bacchic spears. The air was filled with women's weapons aimed at poor Pentheus, but he was still just out of reach, perched helpless in blind panic, holding desperately to the tree. Now the women tore raw timber from off nearby oaks and drove thick stakes deep into the roots of the pine to try to crowbar it out of the earth, but no, the tall trunk was unmovable. So then Agave spoke. "Sisters, let's fling this bird from his high nest before he flies away and sings our secret songs abroad. Come, stand in a circle, grab a branch, and all pull." 1,000 hands fell upon the tree and heaved. They tore the trunk up out of the ground. Pentheus, from his high perch, fell. Thrown from the sky, he crashed down to earth. And as he fell, he suddenly foresaw the awfulness of his fate. And he screamed and screamed and screamed. His mother was the high priestess of his pain, the first to fall on him. Pentheus threw back his hood. He wanted her to know him and not kill him. He pleaded, begged, "Mother, mother!" He touched her cheek. "I'm Pentheus, your son, mother. You bore me. Take pity on me. I made a mistake. Don't kill me." Poor Agave. She was out of her right mind, mad. Her eyes burned with Bacchic bloodlust. She couldn't recognize her son. She stood in front of him and took his hand in hers. She gripped him hard, and then, filled with divine strength, as easily as if she were picking a flower, she ripped his arm off at the shoulder and left his rib cage gaping torn. And Ino took his other arm, stripped the flesh, and snapped the bone. Then Artanoe and the whole mob of women pressed in and dug their bloody hands into his chest. They pulled out lung and liver, heart and gut, and threw them all away. The forest filled with women's cheers, their cheers and the awful cries of Pentheus, screaming, screaming, until the last of his breath was gone. Fragments of his body lay strewn across the forest, smeared over rock and scree, caught on thorns. His corpse everywhere, and yet no whole part of him anywhere, except the head, his wretched head. Agave had got hold of it. She pushed it down on a Bacchic spear and raised it up in her arms as if she'd caught a mountain lion and displayed it. She left her sisters singing in the wood and carried her horrible trophy down the rocky slopes of Cathaeron to Thebes, singing to Dionysus, her companion in the hunt, the one who helped her achieve her sorry victory. Now she dances, she exults, happy with this, her awful prize of grief. So, you see, I saw it all, and I escaped. But then, I've always been careful with gods. I praise them, sing hymns to them, pay them full attention. Because if you don't, well, it doesn't bear thinking about.
Yes! Yes! Yes!